Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears
And have some fun.
and talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abby.
That's me.
That's you.
And you. Are you still attracted to me?
Is that a trick question? What are you trying to do? See, okay. Lesson to guys out there. If a woman asks you, are you still attracted to me? You say yes. Period. That's it. Yeah, of course I am. You don't ask questions like, what do you mean? Like physically, emotionally, spiritually. So that's what a woman would do. If I said, are you attracted to me? They'd say, like, what kind of attraction do you mean? How?
Well, I'm attracted to you.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
What do you, like, how so? Physically, spiritually,
Yes.
emotionally?
Yes. All of those.
You are?
I'm all of the above.
Have you ever lost attraction for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have.
that,
I mean, does that burn? Was that a surprise?
It just changes my answer now.
Well, I mean, there are two seasons I can think of where I was less attracted to you.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get a shitstorm for this. My fat season. He's fat.
Okay.
I'm not attracted anymore to him.
Nope, that is not the thing.
Yeah. Did it look like Justin ate Justin? Absolutely.
No, that is not the reason. Okay, one of the seasons that I was not as attracted to you, you had gained weight, and it wasn't.
Ha! I told you.
It wasn't about the weight. You had so much self-hatred.
I did.
Around that weight. You refused to like wear clothes where you were expressing your creativity anymore. You felt shame every time you got dressed. You felt shame.
Yeah.
When we went out, you felt shame. I could actually feel the thing where you were like, I'm wanting to hide and cover up.
It's true.
And I found that very unattractive.
Yeah, I felt insecure in my own body and being.
Yeah.
I felt out of control and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And so I definitely fell out of love with myself for sure.
And I think that how we love ourselves is one of the magnetic life energies that we can release. And so I remember being like, hey, I don't care if you don't change your body type right now because you were really sick. I was like, but I need you to change how you view yourself.
Yeah.
I need you to find a way to love yourself in this process where your body's at, because swag is attractive. Like having a little bit of like, I got this energy.
I got this.
Yeah, some Riz.
I got this extra man bod.
Yep.
I'm going to shake my moneymaker.
Yep. So that was one season. The second season where I wasn't as attracted to you was when we had a ton of pain coming up in our marriage, and I felt really unsafe.
Yeah.
Because of some dynamics that were happening in between us. And I think this is what we're going to talk about on the podcast today, and I'm really excited about it. The concept of what keeps attraction when you're married.
Yeah.
Because, or in a long-term relationship, or I guess in a short-term relationship, really, what are the things that you need to have healthy attraction, to have thriving attraction where you guys want each other and you're flirting and you're romantic still? Because a lot of people, I think attraction is this magical chemistry that you either have or you don't, and it can come and it can go. And that feels really powerless and out of control. And most couples have great chemistry when they're dating, when they're first getting to know each other. And part of that is because there's no hurts, there's no wounds, there's no self-protection. They don't have their walls up towards each other at all. And a lot of attraction is that wide open energy. Like a lot of flirtation is playfulness, warmth, connection. And so lots of couples are not aware that as you lose your ability to stay warm and open towards your partner, that can actually impact your attraction level towards your partner. And a lot of people feel really powerless. Either they feel less attracted to their partner and they feel scared of that, or they feel like my partner's not as attracted to me. What can we do to fix this? And there are things you can do to fix it.
There was, I mean, this is such a great conversation. I think that equally for me, I fell out of attraction with you during that season as well. It's not that I didn't think you were pretty and stuff. I was just like, I'm not drawn to you. But also, like, I'd put it like this. There was a fence like this, and I was looking over the fence.
Yes.
And I was like, I hate you so much right now. I don't feel safe with you. You're a terrible person.
Yes. Well, I think of attraction energy as like, I'm open and here's my energy. I'm wanting to play and be flirty and engage you. That's like attraction. And when I feel like I have to protect myself from you, it's like, I need to put up my walls. And so there's no fun, playful energy exchange happening.
No.
Your energy isn't even connecting to mine because I care more about protecting myself. Self-protection is walls.
Yes.
And you can't actually have that flirtation, open energy when you are too walled off.
Yeah.
And so emotional threats actually impact people's sex lives much more than they're aware of.
Yeah. Stay tuned for sex tips.
Well, honestly, I was thinking about this because the other day we had some of the best sex we've ever had.
I tore you up.
Oh, it was.
I ravaged you.
You ravaged me. And it was
You're
amazing.
welcome.
And you know what? It was after a week where we had multiple times that we had really good connection and we had both been really safe for each other.
Yeah.
In several situations. And I could feel your walls were down. You were fully in the moment, fully present with me. And I was able to respond back fully in the moment, fully present with you because we were feeling safe.
I think that's on that note, that's something that as people are in committed relationships for any long amount of time, I mean, you get into 20 years or something like that. And you're
Even
like
3 months.
The passion is gone. What happened to the passion? Where's the passionate sex? And I'm like, this is one of the keys to having a passionate sex life with your partner is right here in understanding what you need to feel safe in the relationship and understanding whether or not you feel that emotional safety and how to reconcile when you don't.
Yes. Yeah. We've worked with over 4,000 clients. We've had over 10,000 people do our courses. And over again, when we've worked with couples and there's an issue in the bedroom, it is always connected to emotional safety. There is always one of the partners that is feeling walled off or resentful or shut down or insecure. And that is creating a huge gap between the two of them in the area of emotional or physical intimacy. Emotional intimacy impacts sex so much, but most people are not taught that. They think that all it has to do with is your physical level of attraction for each other. And so they feel powerless to be able to overcome the hurdles that are in their relationship impacting their sex life. And so we want to actually talk about ways to add safety into your relationship so that you can let down your guards, be open, be flirty, be warm with each other again, and find your ability to connect on that deep physical level.
Ooh, get it on. I do want to say this. A lot of people who have come through my office, often you'll find that their lack of attraction for each other, you'll find tied up in a lot of that bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, unprocessed pain.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like when you and I initially started really looking at some deeper pain points inside of our history,
mm-hmm.
areas of bitterness and resentment that had been compartmentalized started coming to the surface. Areas of unforgiveness and areas of unreconciled. It's not just unprocessed, but unreconciled pain. And so I've seen with a lot of couples where they're just like, there is specific life issues that they have never been able to talk about. And because that pain exists, there's a spot inside of them that builds the walls.
It just gets harder
and harder because it goes, this thing is so painful to me, and you keep pressing on that pain anytime we get close. But like, you don't resolve it with me because I'm not talking about it or you're not acknowledging it. And so again, there's like a lot of unnecessary distance and lack of attraction that immediately, like when I've seen them go, oh, I haven't been heard on this, but now you're hearing me on this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I see you again. I remember that I love you. Let me ravage you.
Well, it's interesting because physical closeness, we are so much more open to physical closeness when our walls are down. We want to be closer to each other when we actually want to be emotionally closer to each other. When we are scared of each other, when we feel like the other person is hurting us, when we feel like we have to protect, then we want to get away. So, and I think it's such a simple concept, but most people don't just logic out. Why are we disconnected? There is an area that we have self-protection, and how do we need to repair?
And I do want to make a very specific point. I think that I'm going to kind of like poke at men for a second, but I think that a lot of men, because historically, this has been changing, but historically we haven't been connected to our emotions and understanding like, oh, I'm not feeling safe inside of myself. Oftentimes men will fall out of attraction with their spouses or their significant others. And their logic to it is, I don't know, I'm just not attracted to her anymore.
They think it's about her body or how she's looking, or they just start finding other women more attractive.
Yes. And because they don't understand like, oh, the barrier, the blockade to me being here is that I actually have compounded pain in this relationship that I haven't had language for and known how to navigate with her on this. And so I do want men to really chime in and listen to this and go like, if there's areas where I'm having a hard time being attracted to my significant other, is there a potential that I'm actually feeling unsafe? Now, language-wise, some of what men will say is, I don't feel respected. And that's a very real experience. But that sense of respect, lack of respect, whatever that means to them, that lack of respect is actually, hey, there's a part of me that actually doesn't feel safe because it feels hurt, because there's something about you that doesn't see me through the lens of love or honor or who I really am and all that I've done. There's a lot of that encompassing it. And so again, the point is that we can actually turn this ship around through this conversation.
Well, I love what you're saying, because I think I've worked with a lot of men who are stuck on, no, it is only about her body. And I think I value working out. I think being healthy and taking care of us is attractive. So I want to say that when you're taking good care of your body, I feel more attracted to you, even if your body looks the same, because you're just taking good care of yourself.
Being powerful.
That is attractive to me. It's being powerful. So there is something to be said for that. We are not saying that all attraction is only on emotional safety. But what I have seen is a lot of those men that think it's all about the body do actually have a deep wound or a deep fear or deep pain where they've shut themselves off from their spouse. And when they explore that and they let their spouse into that area with them, they're surprised that some of the attraction can come back.
It's really cool.
Guess what we just did?
What did we just do, Abby?
We created the connection cure. And I think this is the thing that I'm most excited that we've ever created for people, because it is all of the years of courses that we've made, making it available in one monthly healing membership where you get to be connected to people who are going on the same journey as you while getting access to all of the things that we have made: relationship glue, reclaiming you, the compassion project.
The Father series, Living Fully Alive, the Regulation Library.
Yes, we have so many things that we've created over the years. We've had over 10,000 people do our courses. We've met with over 4,000 individual clients. And now we have brought all of it together so that you could have access to all of it for less than one counseling session a month.
Yep. And what's really cool is that monthly we have live connection calls where people get together and have those connection moments, talk about what they're going through, how they're healing in their process. And that's been one of the number one things that people have said is so incredible about doing our courses is the community that they create and the healing that takes place inside of that community. I mean, we've had people find their spouses,
find their best friends, find their community, because finally there's people where they realize I'm not alone and I'm allowed to be loved right now in the messiness of my life before everything is fixed, before everything is perfect. You can belong before you have transformed. You can be loved before you're fixed in this community. And it is really rich and beautiful and healing. We're meant to heal with each other. And the whole point of why we made this is so that people could have a holistic healing pathway. We do so much with connecting to your body and actually learning how to move with your body through emotions so that things don't get buried alive in your body. The body keeps the score. We want to zero that score out. And then we have heart connection stuff where you're actually feeling empathy for yourself and others, where you're actually connecting to your own story and you're actually having time to not just learn logically about why you do what you do, but actually have new feelings towards yourself. And then we have all of the logic, the neuroscience, all of the reasons why your body and your brain do what they do so you can actually understand yourself for the first time and start to have kindness towards why your body is made to react the way it is so that you can heal. It's body, heart, and mind all together in a way that is really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool membership because you get to stay as long as you want or as short as you want inside of it. You're not trapped inside of it, but you have access to an incredible community and great information. And so that is coming soon. You can go to Justin and Abby, that's abi.com, and you can get on our mailing list there, and we'll let you be the first to know when we release that. But this is something we've been planning for a while now, and I'm glad we're getting to do it.
It's about to come out. So I want to talk about things to create safety in your relationship, and kind of we're talking about a few of the things that really create threats and a few of the things that really create safety. So if you find yourself on this list, there is an answer of how to engage more safety so that you feel more romance, more love, more sexual attraction. So the first thing I would say is connection. Connection dramatically impacts how much I like you. So when I'm feeling connected to you, I'm remembering the good things about you. I'm remembering the ways that you've loved me. I'm remembering the fun that we've had together. When we're disconnected, our bodies naturally look for threat and disconnection. So our bodies register that whenever we feel disconnected from somebody, that there's a threat of abandonment. Even if we're not hugely disconnected, it could just be like we haven't had a chance to talk for a few days, and not like talk, but I mean like have a good conversation.
Right.
So maybe we haven't had the chance to have a meaningful conversation in a little while. And so then we just start to feel disconnected. Our body senses disconnection. Our body's so terrified of abandonment that as soon as we sense disconnection, our brain goes into threat awareness. So now we start paying attention to everything that is happening to remind us of every threat to protect ourselves. So that I can either see if you're going to abandon me in time, or so that I can abandon you first so that you can't hurt me. So as soon as I sense just a little bit of disconnection, I start to forget who you are. I start to remember, oh, he just did this thing. And you know what? He's been doing this thing for 20 years. And oh, he didn't take out the trash. And that's also because he doesn't listen to me. And he doesn't listen to me about this thing either. And our brain starts bringing up every threat that can happen. Now, when we start to feel more connected to each other, our bodies naturally feel safer. Our nervous system says, I'm safer, because belonging and attachment is one of the ways that we feel the safest in the world. So when I'm feeling safe, then I'm remembering all of the nuance, all of the times that you were loving me, all of the times that we've worked through hard things together. And so disconnection is a real mind F. And I've started to recognize it. If I start to feel annoyed at you, like here's a great example. If I start to notice you chewing loud, because that's not something that typically bothers me, but if I start to notice like he's chewing really loud, then I'm like, oh, maybe we're feeling disconnected.
Why am I feeling so annoyed at him suddenly? This is not a normal thing that irks me, but suddenly it's getting under my skin and I want to murder him.
I noticed this even with people that aren't my significant others. Like oftentimes when we had roommates, I would start to get really annoyed by how they left their stuff in the space, or how they came and left, or things like that don't typically cause as much stress for me. And always when I start to get a low level of annoyance, I'm like, I'm feeling disconnected. So then if I can have a conversation where maybe I share something real going on in my life and they share something real going on in their life and we feel connected again, then my threat sensors just get deactivated, so they're not picking up on all of the low level threats. So now all of a sudden I can be around you, and the little things that you do that bother me might just kind of like trickle, like kind of out of sight, out of mind, like, oh, he's doing that thing, but it's not that big of a deal. But if I feel disconnected from you, it is that big of a deal.
Yeah. I think that this would be a good way to think of it. It's the naughty and nice list. Like Santa's naughty list and his nice list. So you have a naughty list that you're carrying inside of you, and you have a nice list inside of you. So the nice list is all the good things that have happened, and the naughty list is all the bad things, the wrongs that we have. And so that's something that we need to be aware of, is like, did I just pull out the naughty list?
Yeah.
That has all the accounts.
Only the faults.
Only the faults. Because if I'm not noticing much off of a nice list, then there's a good chance that I'm feeling at minimum disconnected. And if I'm feeling disconnected, it could be impacting the way I feel safe. So now I'm suddenly looking for all those threats on the naughty list.
Yeah.
And so I think looking at that way, do I have a nice list? That's a side note.
Yeah.
I think some couples don't take time to cultivate a nice list as a
love this
point of reference on when we have disconnection. If we don't have a nice list that we've deliberately cultivated, then all of a sudden we will get lost in the naughty list and we'll exacerbate the disconnection, right?
Yeah.
So the nice list to me is like, I have a running list of things inside of my head that are like, these are the good things about Abby. This is her heart for me. These are the good moments inside of our lives. This is why I actually love her. I even have friends that have nice lists that they've created. So when there's some level of disconnection in our relationship,
which is normal,
the first thing they go to is like, well, let me go back to the nice list. And I'm going to think about all the good things about Justin and our friendship. And then I'm going to go have a conversation about how I feel disconnected.
Yes.
It radically impacts the way we have reconnection when we have the nice list at the forefront of our mind.
Absolutely. And this is, I mean, I'm literally working with a couple right now where I'm like, your homework is every day to write out a way that you felt loved by the other person, so that you start to have a list of all these things. Because as soon as they do the thing that bothers you, then that's all you remember. And it's like you completely throw out the nice list. And so I'm actually having them consciously write out the good. Now, our brains are wired for war. And so our brains are wired to throw out the nice list. I say, or one of our good friends, Rachel, she gives this quote, which is, threats are like Velcro. Our brains are wired for war. So threats are like Velcro. We just grab a hold of the threat and we hold on because we need to make sure that we can survive them. But safety is like water running through a sea, like a funnel, and it just flows right through. And so safety doesn't stick to us the same way. So we actually have to find ways to help safety stick to us, which would be like, I'm writing out a nice list. I'm writing out the things every time my husband does something that I felt loved by, or my partner does something that I felt seen or heard by. I'm going to write it down so that when I'm in a threat place, when I'm feeling disconnected, I can actually pull out this list to remind me that it's not all threat. And the goal is not that I pretend that no threat exists. It's that I can hold that there's threats, but there's also goodness.
Yeah, that's really good.
So disconnection creates a lot of pain. And a lot of couples get into a slow descent into normalizing disconnection.
Yes.
And so they just slowly live less and less connected. Life gets busy. Kids get busy. You're not sleeping. You have so much to do. You both have so much stress.
You have failing health.
Yeah. You're not feeling good. And so you don't have energy to set aside time as a couple to actually connect. Have moments where you're actually hearing how the other person's doing, moments where you're sharing, where you're laughing together, where you're having fun, but also moments where you're feeling known or heard. And so a lot of times this is an intentional thing that we can do to add safety. So many people I know don't want to have sex when they feel disconnected.
Yeah.
And so what they need is intentional time, however you do it. I have some couples I know every Sunday they have a business meeting. They go through what their week is going to look like. And then they
By
also...
business, you mean sex meeting. It's business time.
It's business time. So they have a meeting like, this is what the week is going to look like. We're planning it. We're looking over our budget. We're looking over our meals. And then we're checking in on how we did this week. Like some couples I know actually do a check-in, like, how did you feel loved this week? What are areas that I can support you more this next week? A check-in time. Now, other people make sure they do a date night once a week to make sure that they're having time where they're distraction free and they're actually just remembering what it's like to be with each other.
Yeah. We've talked about this in the past, but there's micro moments where you can create a sense of connection, where it's as simple as walking through the front door. And the minute you come through the front door, acknowledging each other's presence. Like, oh my gosh, I missed you. I love you. How was your day? Let me give you a hug. Let me engage you. Even if it's like, this was 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 simple minutes, the warmth that is being exchanged, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we've restored a sense of connection after a long day. And we can do that throughout the day. Even throughout the day, I know that sometimes you'll send me little memes on Instagram. I know that that's a connection point. And I'm like, oh, she's thinking of me.
Yeah.
Or you'll like, when you date, oftentimes there's like these fun little jokes that'll go back and forth and banter on text messages.
Yes.
And throughout the day, sometimes we'll throw these messages back and forth with each other. That it's like, oh, I'm being thought of.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves me. She loves me. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that was a fun, flirty exchange.
Yeah. Connection can be, if you think about it like a bank account.
Yeah.
Anytime you're putting things into connection, you're thinking about your other person, you're communicating to them that they're thinking about them, or you're hugging them. Just even sometimes I'm just going to hug somebody for 5 extra seconds so they know that I actually mean it. I'm not just doing this because this is what we should do. I'm actually feeling love towards them. All of those things build safety.
Yeah.
And that is what helps make up for the pain that happens in relationships and the hardship and the times where you hurt each other. If you have a lot of ways that you're inputting into your safety connection bank account, you have more money that you can withdraw from it in other situations.
Yeah. I want to circle back to, you were talking about sex to actually create safety. And that for some people can be a painful topic. Like it's felt like this has been demanded or required inside of our relationship. My feelings haven't been considered at all, and I've been having sex inside of it. And so we understand that there's the nuance to it, but there's like in a mutually agreed upon relationship where there's healthy boundaries with each other, actually realizing like, hey, when we have our guards up and stuff, if we both choose to jump into like, let's try to let our guards down and just physically engage each other in ways that feel intimate, all the way like everything leading up to sex, like whatever you need, whatever your thing is, getting that physical connection in and being deliberate about the idea of like, I'm not here to have an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
I am here to allow myself to become vulnerable with another person and engage them in a way that brings us both pleasure and connection. So you can actually reestablish safety. There's been times where we've been like at each other, and it's like, all right, do you think it would be helpful for both of us
Mm-hmm.
to try to engage in this manner?
Yes.
And it's like we start to do it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, my guards are down,
Mm-hmm.
feel closer to you. And we even have some really great conversations afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, all right, we had sex, let's run off. It's like, hey, we're pausing with this moment as well. And it led to depth.
Yeah, because sex is a great deposit in the connection tank.
Yeah.
Now, it's not always that way. If it feels like it's not a mutual decision,
Yeah.
and if people don't feel like they're wanting to do it and having to do it, there's so many things that can create chaos. Yeah. But what we are talking about is there are lots of times where we recognize we're feeling disconnected, and in a healthy relationship dynamic, having sex can help you feel reconnected again. And it's a beautiful gift to your relationship. They actually say that one way to build your sex drive is to have sex.
Yeah.
Like the longer you don't have sex, the easier it is to not want it for some people's bodies. Other people, that's not how it works. And so if that's you, one way to engage it is like knowing, oh, this is something that will bring me joy. And it will be good. And as I do it more, it actually makes it feel more enjoyable and delightful.
I want to stay on this topic of sex for just one more minute. Now, some of you, we're talking about actually building safety through sex.
Yeah.
Some of you go, I feel so unsafe that I need to get some sense of safety before I can have
100%.
sex. Right. And there are a lot of people that I've had come through my office that say, hey, I don't know why, but I just don't want to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go down the list of things, we realize, oh, this is a reality based in, I don't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel on guard. And the question becomes like, if you're noticing that inside of your relationship, is there something that I have a guard up around that keeps me from being able to be this vulnerable inside of this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where you start. Just like, is there a guard there?
Yeah.
Is there a wall inside of me that hits?
And what can we do to work through that issue? Which that's one of the main things, a lot of times there's a betrayal or an addiction or a cycle that is painful that creates repetitive pain that makes you want to just shut down. So I know for us, it was repetitive cycles in our marriage where it like, my body started locking up. My body started saying, you cannot make me have sex while this repetitive, painful cycle is still going. Mm. And to me, that was a real gift that my body said no. Because what it did is it let me know, oh, this pain is really real. And I need to be able, like, we need to have a voice and we need to figure out how to break this cycle so that my body feels safe enough to engage this. And I wasn't mad at my body. I didn't shame it for that. I actually thought, thank you, body, for letting me know that this is that big of an issue. And so then that's what we spent time working on, is that repetitive cycle that was causing us both so much pain.
Yeah.
And so we, instead of even, it wasn't like, oh, I need to work on my sex life right now. It was like, we need to work on solving the problem that is continuing to repeat. So for us, a lot of that was regulation. We had to learn how to live in a regulated lifestyle around each other. So instead of living in fight, flight, or freeze, we had to learn how to like get our nervous systems a little bit more into safety, where we weren't having such fast reactions, where we were able to keep our brains more in line. We weren't getting into trigger brain. We weren't talking to each other out of fight, trigger brain energy. We had to learn how to have conflict in a safer way, because the unhealthy conflict actually was what was creating panic in my body around sex, even though the two seemingly aren't connected.
Yeah. When we're when we're talking about regulation, the dysregulation energy is something that very few people are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can have a relational experience where all the right words are being said, but the anger, the frustration, a sense of intensity internally is bubbling up inside of you as you're having those conversations. And that's felt.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so felt inside of the relationship. And so
our bodies are having these memories of having to be on guard and feeling intensity. And then they don't just naturally just jump out of that.
Yeah. So when there is energy that does not match up with the communication that's happening externally. So it's like, I'm saying happy, peaceful things, but my insides are saying, I want to fucking kill you. And I'm so resentful and bitter and I don't like you. Like, we naturally, unconsciously feel that and hear that. And we go, I don't know what it is, but inside of that person, I don't trust the words coming out of their mouth because the words don't align with something
the
that energy that I feel that's going on inside of you. So now, because I'm not getting truth, I do not feel safe in this exchange. And so I'm shutting down. Again, that's all unconscious. It's not conscious, but it happens. And so what we can do is we can begin the process of becoming aware of asking ourselves, like, if I don't feel safe in this relationship, or my partner doesn't feel safe, is there energy inside of us that we're not managing well, that we haven't got to a state of feeling regulated peace, kindness, gentleness inside of this?
And a lot of that, if you're just listening, would be like, how are you handling stress energy in your life?
Yeah.
How are you, because there are healthy ways to release the intensity of the experiences we're having all day long through our body, of stress, of chaos, of hard things that we face. But we can do it without doing behavior that is aggressive or cold or neglectful or abandoning of our partners.
I know that a lot of people will come home after a long day and the first thing out of their mouth is all the worst things. Yeah. So you have this dysregulated experience where it's like, my effing boss did blah, 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 and then these people did that. So there's verbal ventilations that can be intense that heighten the energy in the experience and cause it to be like, oh, I'm on guard. This person is like off their rocker right now. Also, there can be that implosion. Like you talk about the freeze energy, come home from a long day. You have all those emotions that you're not dealing with.
You just go into your hole inside.
Yep. They get stuffed and your partner's sitting there being like, I don't know about them.
I don't know where you went.
Where did you go? What's happening inside of you?
Yes.
And so they brace.
So that's like a freeze response. And the first one you talked about was like a fight response. Or they come home and they're like so disconnected. They're like ping-ponging all around. They're scrolling on their phone. They're playing video games. They're cleaning the house feverishly.
Yep.
And so a lot of us are trying to avoid our stress in ways that is unhealthy, and instead of trying to move through our stress in healthy ways. And one of the things that we had to learn is it's almost like the concept I would say is you're going to have emotions your whole life. You're going to have stress your whole life. There's no way to avoid it. And I imagine it kind of like a hose that has water that is coming out at like a very intense amount of water, like a fire hydrant amount. And I imagine the hose is just like flailing around and getting everything soaked. And our job is to learn, what do we do with that hose so that it doesn't destroy the house?
Yep.
So that we don't flood the house. We're going to have stress and anxiety, and we're going to have challenge. And so we need to actually learn a way to handle those without shooting our partner in the face with so much water that their head blows off. You know what I mean? And so, and there's a lot to learning to regulate. We've talked about it a lot on here. And if you want to learn more, we have resources we're always putting out about regulating your body. So you can go to justinabby.com, get on our emailing list. I'm sure that we'll actually have some stuff coming up soon about that. So that is something to be aware of, but it's something to pay attention to. How do we manage our emotions when we're in stress? And one thing is I have a friend who, when they feel overwhelmed, they get cold.
Yep.
And their partner is always scared of, I don't know when they're going to get cold again. I don't know when they're going to shut off their emotions. And it may not have anything to do with them. And so it's that idea of how am I handling when I have emotions and how does that impact the people around me? And then let's find creative ways to feel my emotions in ways that don't hurt others. So I know that when I get really angry now, I normally, when I'm in fight, maybe not even about you, but I will probably go vent with a girlfriend instead of you because it feels overwhelming to you.
Yeah, it does.
And then I normally share with you after I'm out of that intense energy, like the core roots of what was actually going on.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm not sharing anything with you, but I'm learning how to interact with you where I'm not putting all of my emotions on you.
I think one of the things that's actually key to restoring safety, especially like we're using the like, hey, we've just come together again after a long day. One of the core things that can restore safety is telling on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So saying like, I can tell internally that I'm wanting to check out. I can tell that I'm wanting to shut down. I can tell that I'm wanting to like fire off like a volcano right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have these overwhelmed, just naming what is going on inside. And someone goes, thanks for letting me in on that information.
Because then you can feel connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel disconnected when you come home and you're just feverishly cleaning the house, or when I come home and I'm just cold, or whenever we come home and we don't know what's happening. But even just that one sentence doesn't mean that we have to spend an hour together. But now I know your internal world. And so there's a place of connection there.
Talking about the emotions versus talking like out of them is two different things. So talking out of them, you're like, and then they did this and they're so dumb. And there's like that. And that's talking out of our emotions.
Yes.
Talking about our emotions is, I can tell that I have a lot of anger and frustration towards this individual. And I can tell that there's a lot of frustration and anxiety inside of me right now. And so as you're naming what's going on, you're like, and I know I need to manage that and work through that, like that ownership aspect as well. That is all safety. It's like, okay, they know about them. We're not playing guessing games about what's happening here. And they're even telling me that they're going to do something about it.
Yep.
I feel good about this. It's not going to get unloaded on me.
Yes. Yeah, it's really, really good. I think one thing I was thinking about so I was talking about in our life, we had a repetitive cycle. I want to talk about addictions and betrayal. So maybe your partner cheated on you, or maybe they've had a porn addiction for years, or maybe they spent $100,000 and didn't tell you about it and you found out. Like there's so many ways that people break trust, and that creates long-lasting ripples inside of relationships. And so it's not that before your partner can be attracted to you again, it has to entirely be fixed.
Yeah.
But it is that you've actually figured out what is the root of the betrayal.
Yeah.
So for us, one of the things was, what is the root of dysregulation? I had to figure out my dysregulation roots, and you had to figure out yours. And then what is a plan for what we want to do instead? And then the time, and over again, what made me feel safe with you is watching. Okay, over and over again, you're learning to take ownership for your parts. You're learning not to blame. Over and over again, you're slowly starting to walk away when you're getting heated. Over and over again, you're starting, like, it was the constant seeing you walk the plan out.
Yeah.
So when I saw you do what you said you would do, that's how trust is rebuilt. When you find out what the root is of why a behavior is happening, and then you figure out what you need to do to break that. And it normally doesn't just instantly get fixed. It's normally like a few years that you have to see. If it's been a big pain spot, if you had a big betrayal, you're going to have to see them follow through on what they said they would do over and over and over again. But every time they do that, it's rebuilding safety. So you've got to think about it like every time that you are working on repairing a behavior that you've done, you're putting money in the safety account. Every single time that you are adding to it, it counts, and it's adding up over time. And so that is how we've rebuilt safety from trust being broken, is find out what the root problems are, find out solutions for the root problems, and then start implementing them.
Yeah.
That sounds very simple. It's hard to do, It's hard to do if you have a porn problem and you find out, oh, this is because I'm lonely and I don't know how to have intimacy. Oh, I actually have to start when I want to look at porn. I need to start calling one of my friends and having a real conversation about where I'm at and what's going on. Or I have a porn problem because I feel inadequate. Oh, when I start to feel inadequate, I need to reach out to friends. I need to do something that builds trust with myself. I need to do something good for my self-esteem to build that. So like the actual things you have to do are very difficult to rebuild trust and heal, because it's facing a lot of our fears. It's facing a lot of our pain. It's facing a lot of our trauma to change our cycles. But that is how trust is rebuilt. And when your partner who's been hurt or broken by something that you've done over and over again does new behavior, they're changing their neural pathways. They're changing their responses. Maybe your partner goes cold on you a lot and you see them and they just start by like, oh, I just went cold. I did the thing I didn't want to do. And they apologize every single time. And then they start to catch it. Oh, I think I'm starting to go cold. Oh, and now I'm spending less time in coldness and I'm noticing it faster. And now I'm able to narrate, oh, I think I want to go into that cold place and I don't want you to do that. It might take time to actually heal a deeply ingrained habit that has hurt our partner. But if we're watching them consistently fight to heal it, that will rebuild trust.
Well, I want to go back to, I had a client who had multiple affairs on his wife. And, you know, he got caught in all of it. All of it came out. And he was like, apologizing up and down for about a year.
Yeah.
And a year goes by and he's in my office and he is like, I don't get it. She doesn't trust me. Like, I'm not cheating anymore. I'm like, a massive amount of trust has been broken here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just that you're not currently having sex with other women that is the problem. It's that you don't know how you got there still.
Mm-hmm.
There's still aspects of this that you haven't come face to face with, and you're not bringing this to the table.
Yeah.
Like you're not bringing the, oh, I'm having ahas to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing about your behavior besides you saying you're really sorry a bunch of times. And the fact that you say you're not sleeping with women, but you were anyways, how does she know? Like, there's nothing about your behavior that's helping her go, I can actually begin to trust again, because there are these telltale signs that mean that the work is being done and there's not just a big betrayal waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was something that had to start getting implemented. And I'm like, this also, because you talked about safety can be broken in a way and trust can be broken in a way that this is not an overnight job.
Absolutely.
Like, this is like, I may be working on rebuilding trust for the next 10 years,
Absolutely.
depending on the level of violation that's taken place. And so this person immediately, almost immediately, I say, you know, like a year is like immediately, like wanted their spouse to suddenly have that trust again.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust me. But that was the one thing that was broken. So they can't just trust you because it's the one thing that you walked all over, right? And so to me, there has to be so much patience in this process of like, if I'm actually trying to restore safety, I don't have an agenda of when that has to happen.
How long it's going to take and how many times I have to do this new behavior. I'm going to keep doing it because it's healthy for me. I'm not going to do it so that they all of a sudden trust me. I'm going to do it because I want to change my own life.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of, you know, you go through something hard and then your sex life changes and it doesn't magically just get resolved. And you have to think, if you've done a betrayal or if you've broken trust, it might take years to rebuild that. That doesn't mean you don't have sex for years, but your sex life may not be a healed, reconciled place for years while you're walking that out. And that is part of us facing the pain that we cause. And it's okay because we get to bring healing and repair. And part of the way we bring repair is to have patience on the people around us.
Yeah, it's good. I want to transition to another one.
Yes.
A thing that creates safety is responding to bids for connection. So for those of you who don't know what the language bids for connection is like, I am doing something to try and create connection. So it's like
I'm reaching out to you in some way, either to like say, hey, how you doing? Or come do this thing with me, or it's anything, an invitation so that we could have togetherness in something.
Yeah. And so like what happens is when I respond well to a bid for connection, I am saying that I accept you, or I choose you, or I like you, or I want to be around you. And like you're sending a signal. Even, it's like if you come over to me and you like, I'm working on my computer and you grab my shoulder and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And I go, I'm in the middle of working. Could you just get off my back?
You're literally just telling about 99% of our memories.
Absolutely. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Take me away, bailiff. But in those moments, if I turn into a bit of connection, I'm like, oh, thank you for touching me. I love you. It's so good to see your face right now. I want to spend some time with you, but right now I'm in the middle of doing this and my brain cannot break away from this.
Cannot multitask.
I can't multitask in this moment, but I like that you came over to touch me and say hi to me. And then I give you a quick squeeze.
Yes.
That right there.
Then I don't leave feeling rejected.
Nope.
Then I don't leave feeling alone in our marriage. This is one of the number one things to tell if your relationship is going to make it or not. Actually, scientifically, the Gottman studied it. And one of the number one ways to see if relationships were going to last and be happy is how do people respond when you reach out for connection? And so for a lot of years in our marriage, I would reach out for connection and it felt like that was bothering you.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Yeah. And now that you really have changed a lot. What that did though is it made me feel rejected a lot. So then I put my guards up towards you. So then I got spiky, which made you feel rejected a lot.
Yeah.
And so then I was feeling rejected. So I was protecting. So then I was rejecting you. You were feeling rejected. So then you were rejecting me.
The cycle goes on and on.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you can disrupt it by creating, they say something as little as like, if you're like, hey, look at that bird outside, and your partner response. Half of it is just that you respond, that you acknowledge that your partner said something.
Yeah. Like it's as easy as being like, I hate birds. Quit talking to me about the bird. Like, look, I acknowledge the situation.
It could be like, oh my gosh, I love how much you love birds. I'm on this call right now and I can't come over, but maybe later. Or like, oh, that is a beautiful bird. And then you're back to your thing. It's like a 10-second response.
Yeah. I will even add that there could be moments where it's like, I actually need you to leave me alone and I can't acknowledge you. Mm-hmm. Who knows what it is, but it's like one of those like, I can't stop.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. But it's the follow-up even that says, today when you came over to me to grab me and I was in the middle of that thing, man, it meant so much to me. I know that I couldn't pull away from that call because that was a serious business call that there was no being able to acknowledge your world, but that mattered to me.
I love that you wanted to come be close to me, or I love that you wanted to come tell me about your day. And you've started implementing a lot more of responding to my bids for connection.
Gosh, I've learned how to play the game well.
Well, and what is the response that you've seen? Like I am so much softer towards you.
You are.
I have way less rejection triggers.
Yeah.
And my rejection triggers are spiky.
Yeah.
Like I get hardened when I feel rejected.
Like,
so I'm softer.
Would there be a different way of saying that? Like I become a jerk or something like
Absolutely. These are ways of safety. So we're almost through the end. And so I want to just say one of the biggest threats in relationships is how you speak to each other. The disdain, the contempt, when you're frustrated with each other, when somebody cuts you off, when you're at the end of your rope, can you still have kindness and respect, like human respect for somebody? Or are you talking down to them with disdain and contempt? And I know for me, unfortunately, my confusion trigger that I have when I feel confused, it comes off like contempt.
Yeah.
And that
No
devastated you in our marriage.
Yeah.
And that created a lot of places where you felt unsafe with me because it felt like I was looking at you with contempt. It felt like I was talking to you with contempt. It felt like I was talking down to you with disdain. And it's easy. The other reason people get into it is, bitterness or frustration. You start to hate them or just self-protection. When you feel hurt, when you feel rejected, you just respond back with a kind of cutting remark.
Yeah, jab. Mm-hmm.
And it sounds so silly. It's so simple, but like your warmth and how you speak to each other is one of the easiest ways to add safety to a relationship.
Yep. And again, are we wrapping this up here?
Well, yeah. Did you want to say something more about that? I had one more thing.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can go on your other thing.
Well, it's another subject.
Go ahead. Jump to the other subject.
Okay. The other thing is cleanup and action. And we touched on this inside of rebuilding trust, but a huge part of it is, am I cleaning up when I make messes in the relationship? Am I listening to how I'm hurting you and trying to find ways to not engage that? Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that creates walls in our sex life is when I'm telling you something's hurting me over and over again and you're not listening.
Yeah, you're not getting a clue.
You're not hearing me and you're not changing your behavior and it doesn't even look like you care. One of the best things you can do for your sex life is have empathy on your partner and try to understand the ways that they're feeling impacted by you. Because when I feel like you see me and you care, and you may not be able to avoid hurting my feelings, but at least that I know you care about my feelings and you care that they're hurt and that you are trying to meet me in them, that creates a safety that makes it so much safer for me to want to be close to you.
Yeah. This is universal on both sides of the relationship. Mm-hmm. The need for asking, how am I impacting you? Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of times there's a denial of impact and there's safety inside of feeling like you have a partner that you don't have to fight on it and that it feels like they care.
Yeah.
And so being able to be like, I want to understand the impact I have in this area. Because mm-hmm. like you said, the opposite is a partner who's saying, you don't hear me on this issue ever. And there's a lot of self-protectiveness and defensiveness because people feel like they're being made the villain and stuff, or their shame monster kicks in. Mm-hmm. But if we can get over our shame monsters and stuff, and we can, pretty consistently have check-ins where we go like, hey, I just want to check in your world. Are there ways that I've been impacting you that I'm not aware of, that I need to know a little bit more about? And to be able to hold a posture of like, I'm actually here to be curious. I'm not here to defend. Even if what they say feels like it doesn't make sense to my brain, I'm like, thank you for being willing to give me that information. I need to go digest this.
Well, I think one question you could ask that it could be so life-changing to your relationship is there, if you had to pick one way that I could be safer for you, mm-hmm. what would that be? Because sometimes if you just open it up, it's too much if there's too many options. Right. But if they say, oh, if you could hear me on this one thing, that would create so much safety to me, then you actually have something tangible and practical. And if you actually listen to your partner, even if you disagree with what it is, you're like, that's not even what's happening. And being like, okay, we need to go get counseling, or I need to read books about this. We need to find a solution because they're saying that this one area of me not being safe is really impacting them. And that means it's going to impact our attraction. It's going to impact our sex life. It's going to impact our connection. And there's not a way that we're going to have a healthy, thriving relationship if we cannot face this thing head on. And one thing is a good place to start. And maybe it's like, I really don't feel safe with how you deal with your emotions. Then then I'm going to need to go figure out how to process my emotions in a healthier way.
It's good.
Whatever that thing is, because when we feel like our partner will actually hear us, it creates so much safety. And that to me is one of the ways that I think that you've really warmed my heart back up. I would say my heart got cold when it felt really unsafe. We could call it frozen, ice queenie.
Mhm.
And it was the consistent me recognizing you were listening to the pain points I was sharing. It took a while, but then I could start to see that you were listening. And as I could see that you were listening and then you were changing your behavior, it like slowly warmed my heart more and more and more until I felt really safe again.
Yeah. That's good. Well, I think that I'm hoping to hear stories of people making babies from this episode and just having very good lovemaking sessions. So this has been a great episode.
I think so too. I'm going to just end by saying a couple things. There are 6 threats that we covered that really create chaos in relationship.
Yeah.
Dysregulation is one.
Mhm.
Not being able to handle your emotions in a way that doesn't destroy your partner. Disconnection, not having enough time and intentionality to get close to them.
Rejection for bids of connection.
Contempt, looking and talking to somebody with disdain or frustration at them.
And not being heard.
And then addiction, betrayal, or trust breaking behavior. Those things create such pain in relationships. And you can solve it. You can create safety from learning warmth and regulation. You can learn how to have good connection. You can rebuild trust. You can respond to bids of connection. You can hear each other, and you can create good cleanup with empathy. And so you can actually change your whole relationship. It does take work, but it's so worth it. Safety in a relationship is possible. I had no idea how good a relationship could feel until we did a lot of work to face the areas that we were hurting each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So as last thing, are you feeling safe right now?
Like, do you want to turn the cameras off and make us some love? I don't know why I said it that way. Why are you pointing at the camera?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, but wait, if you are listening to this, find us on YouTube, subscribe and share this episode with people. That's the best thing you can do. If this episode was helpful for you, share it with your spouse. They probably need to hear it. Get on the same page, use the same language, find a pathway so that you can have good connection. Okay, bye.